Over the last 2 months, Casio might have released the most watches I've ever seen a brand release. Now obviously plenty of them are just random new watches, but some of them have been revamped versions of existing watches basically. And I think that might be what's in here. Let's take a look. Now this isn't retail packaging, as you may have guessed. These were actually sent in by Casio UK, so thanks to them for sending it over. And these are a couple of brand new G-Shocks. Now, you'll notice if you've seen any of my channels that I'm not one to really care a great deal about G-Shocks. And I get updated by the thousands of new releases from the G-Shock line every week, basically. But this is really the first one that captured my attention, and we'll see why. Or hopefully it'll look as good in person. But here they are. These are the new watches in the GBM-2100 line. Now the 2100 line is like that CasiOak line from a couple of years ago. And the thing with that watch was lots of people were modding it to have a metal case. And then G-Shock did come out with a metal cased version after, but that was massively increased in price. Whereas this one's something a little bit unusual. So this one is a bit like a hybrid. I'll link this watch in the video description. This is just 2 different colors of it here. But from what I can gather, you're essentially getting a metal plated version. So it's not all stainless steel. If you look at the back here, you'll see that black inner, and then the metal outer is simply plated onto the outside. But you're effectively getting something that's almost as good as the original mod kit for this watch, but for much less than the solid steel G-Shocks. And also there are a couple of other things that stood out to me about this one of which was the dial. So these sorts of watches have been around for a little bit already, but they were just in the bog standard colors, whereas here they have released some much more colorful versions. So this one's a green. I think the best looking one was actually a blue version, which I'm a bit gutted I didn't get. Now they got quite an unusual dial texture, and I'm not sure if that fully comes across on camera. Almost like a panel-like effect, which actually looks quite good. And the reason for that is because these are also solar powered, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a tough solar G-Shock, this one. I do wish they had a little bit more pop to them, and the crystal does have a fair amount of glare. I'll have to check what crystal that is as well. I'm not 100% sure. But they've also sent me the black or grey version as well from the looks of it. They also look quite small in person. Zooming in probably doesn't help, but yeah, this I guess the original CasiOak was one of the smaller G-Shocks. Not like they'll fit me a great deal, but it also has Bluetooth. Let's just double check. So yeah, you get obviously the shock resistant construction, but they also have smartphone link, and I thought I saw the Bluetooth on the back, and that must be something to do with it. You still get the super high water resistance. This is a bio-based resin band, whatever that means. And this is definitely a little bit thinner than some of the other G-Shock bands. Whether that means it'll be as durable, I'm certainly not sure. But one thing it does do is look better and sleeker. And this indicator on the left is a battery level indicator too. And I quite like battery level indicators, especially for watches like this, which are kind of designed to look functional. Now, the only real problem I can see with these two is the negative displays from Casio, this patch in the bottom corner. They've just never been great. As you can see, the standard one is far more legible. And also, I don't like how it actually just straight up says Bluetooth there on the dial. But overall, these are definitely some of the better looking G-Shocks that I've seen, no doubt. But yeah, it's got a bunch of the other typical functions: countdown timer, customizable date, hand shift function apparently. With a push of the button, hands move away from the LCD to permit free visibility. That is interesting. I'll have to work out how to do that one. These didn't ship with a manual. Apparently the crystal is only mineral on these, which is a little bit of a shame. Surely Casio could do a sapphire at this price. They do it on the Edifice watches. It does have a stopwatch in that as well, although not the most functional G-Shock, I wouldn't say. Obviously, the ones with the big digital displays have got to be easier to read and use. This is more a little bit of a fashiony statement one, and for good reason. On camera, I think the black/grey version looks best, but in person, the green one definitely looks best. Wow, 44.3. That surprises me. It doesn't look 44.3. Bezel is only 40.5. Maybe that's the illusion here. Kind of is no proper lug to lug. Technically it's 40, just shy of 49 mil, but with the strap it does balloon up a little. And thickness of 11.5. And here's a quick look at it on my 6.25 inch wrist. As you can see, considering I have a tiny arm, definitely doesn't wear like a 44 mil watch. Probably wears like a 41, maybe 42 mil. So yeah, still too big for me to wear unless I was specifically going for the oversized look, but certainly don't be put off immediately by the measurements. One thing I do like, this thin strap. It's not too long even for my arm, even if I am on the, I think I'm on the penultimate hole there. But due to the shape and slimness of it, the end of it slots in really nicely. It doesn't flap about, which is good. Might not be quite as durable or shock resistant as some of the others though. And here is the grey version. Yeah, the grey version definitely looks better on camera. Maybe it just has a bit more of that tactical look. I think the light blue version I've seen online probably is the best looking, which is surprising for me. I'm not really into that kind of Tiffany-esque blue, but no denying this. I think a lot of people will like the way this looks. G-Shocks have never been 100% my thing, but these are some of the better looking ones. And I like the fact that you've got some sort of metal option that doesn't cost the absolute earth. The link below, let me know what you think in the comments.